I used to suffer from hypothyroidism. It's a frustrating disease. You'll know what I'm talking about. There's the symptoms. It made my hair thin out, I gained weight, even when I was off my food. I got moody and occasionally depressed. Sometimes I was constipated. I was able to sleep a solid 10 hours and still wake up exhausted. I found it difficult to focus at work and struggled to really enjoy family and social life. My low moods and anxious thoughts created one or two relationship difficulties too. People tried to understand, but my condition wore them down. Even more frustrating was that doctors simply didn't believe there's anything wrong with me. After several discussions, my doctor looked at my thinning hair, accepted that my dry skin and aching limbs wasn't normal, but then put my fatigue and anxiety down to me being preoccupied with my thinning hair and aching limbs. He told me he couldn't find anything wrong with me. He advised I eat better, exercise more, and take up a hobby. When he did finally have my blood tested, hypothyroidism was diagnosed. I was put on a lifetime course of drugs. They had some positive effect, but they mostly reduced symptoms a little. They never got rid of them. So I was still tired an awful lot, but I could mostly keep my eyes open. My hair and skin still thinned and dried, but a little less, and so on. The meds became a problem. I developed some dosage problems, which is common with hypothyroidism meds. They're sensitive drugs. A bit too much or too little can have dramatic effects on a person's health. Even taking pills from a new batch can lead to adverse reactions. My doctor informed me that for many people, thyroid problems fluctuate over the course of the year, which, as I found out, means the dosage had to fluctuate too. I've never been keen to take drugs for illnesses. They're toxic, unnatural, and over time can cause as many problems as they solve. Yet here I was, stuck, basically. I wasn't getting better. The drug's downsides could hit me in between the eyes at any time, but I didn't know what else to do instead. Anyway, that's all done with now. I no longer have the disease, so I can look back on those days and smile. It's all over for me. I'm fully well. I do still recall it all, though, and I feel for others who are ill now in the ways I was then. My recovery is complete. It happened pretty quickly, about 4 weeks, give or take a few days. And that disease ain't coming back either. I'll explain why. Not everyone suffers hypothyroidism for life. About 18 months ago, a lady called Jody Knapp was in front of me in a long line at the supermarket. While we waited to be served, we started talking. Long story short, Jody knew all about hypothyroidism. She was a natural health practitioner and some years previously had helped a close friend who had it really bad get over the disease. Today, Jody routinely treats hypothyroidism in hundreds of people. She gave me a link to some information about how she approaches the disease, and we chatted some more while we waited. What I eventually learned from Jody about hypothyroidism was jaw-dropping, because I'm the kind of person who trusts doctors unquestioningly. If a doctor can't beat whatever you're suffering from, then it can't be beaten. Plain and simple. I realize that sounds dumb, but that's how I am. When I was finally free of hypothyroidism, I changed that view. I had to. Because the essence of the problem is this. Doctors tend to treat only the symptoms of hypothyroidism. They fully understand that an underactive thyroid isn't producing the hormones the body needs. They of course know that these hormones, known as T3 and T4, regulate metabolism, which means they directly affect how fast your heart beats, how deeply you breathe, your body temperature, cholesterol levels, and whether you'll gain weight or lose it. And doctors understand the effects of an underactive thyroid: weight gain, depression, poor skin and hair quality, disrupted menstrual cycles in women, aching joints, ongoing tiredness, and so on. And so they tackle the hormones problem, insufficient T3 and T4, with artificial hormones and then, perhaps, tinker with the other effects, tiredness, low moods, and so on. But they leave underlying causes completely untouched. They say, for example, that hypothyroidism is caused by lack of iodine, but they don't explain why there's a lack of iodine. Some doctors recognize, correctly, that our immune system is running riot and causing our thyroid problems. But then They fail to ask, why is the immune system running out of control? What's the cause? Doctors administer drugs for the symptoms, the part of the disease that we can all see, and leave the underlying causes untouched. What Jody told me was very, very powerful. She said the primary cause of hypothyroidism was inflammation in the body. Scientists are already closely studying inflammation because it is implicated in many, many diseases. So if we tackle the inflammation, we've put paid to the hypothyroidism. So here's how we actually end up with hypothyroidism. If we trace the story backwards, we find that our thyroid is being attacked by our immune system. It's what doctors call an autoimmune disease. Why is our immune system attacking our thyroid? This is well understood. It works like this. One of our immune system's vital jobs is to attack excess toxins in your body. Toxins, or poisons basically, in the body are natural and normal. A healthy body can handle them. Toxins come from both the food we eat and from the wider environment. Chemicals from household cleaners, for example, or soaps and deodorants. But we must get rid of them from our bodies. They are dangerous if left unchecked. Various body systems do this, and our immune system is one of those systems. Our immune system releases inflammatory cells to do the job of neutralizing and removing toxins. These inflammatory cells give rise to inflammation. Inflammation is simply blood, killer cells, liquids, and so on that rush to an area of the body to handle a wound or tackle bad bacteria. You'll experience inflammation in the redness and swelling of an insect bite, or a bad scratch or a stubbed toe. Heat, redness, swelling, that's your immune system working to fix a wound and fight any possible infections. And when the job is done, the system relaxes, recuperates, and is ready for the next fight. But there's a big, big problem here. It's known that our modern lives bring into our bodies amounts of toxic material that we often just can't deal with. 24 hours a day, modern men and women are exposed to environmental and food toxins that many of us don't even realize are there. Which means the immune system's work is never ending. There's little let-up in the excess toxins it's forced to deal with. And on constant high alert and always being called into action, it becomes stressed and exhausted, which leads to it making some serious mistakes. Most notably, it sends inflammatory cells everywhere, and they start to attack healthy body tissue, and whatever tissue they attack leads to a specific disease. This is called an immune system disorder. In fact, scientists have verified over 100 immune system disorders. They take different forms, attacking different parts of the body. In rheumatoid arthritis, the immune system is attacking your joints and connective tissues. In diabetes, it is attacking your pancreas. In celiac disease, it's attacking your gut lining. In Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the victims are your thyroid cells. This isn't theory, it's verified science. But what's frustrating is that we know what causes that ongoing inflammation. These days, there are too many toxins in the average person's blood, and our immune systems are struggling to cope. Our immune system malfunctions, attacks our thyroid, and stops it producing vital hormones. And so we experience all the typical symptoms of hypothyroidism. Don't take this personally. By the way, the revelation that your body is carrying excess toxins shouldn't be taken personally. It's not your fault at all. Ongoing chronic inflammation caused by excess toxins in the body is widespread. You're not alone. It affects millions of Americans. We do little about it because we don't really know